WolfRiverElectric.com.
From the Your Boat Club Weather Center.
This report is sponsored by the Minnesota Department of Public Safety.
When you're driving, pay attention to this, not that. Acknowledge this. Ignore that. Distracted driving is dangerous driving. Drive smart.
A message from the Minnesota Department of Public Safety. Extra enforcement now on Minnesota roads.
Fan forecast.
Got some rain on the way, potentially. High of 67.
Later today at 12 noon, it's the Common Man program right here on Da Fan.
The Power Hour featuring Ben Lieber and Alexis Pearson and Sauce and Corey and Max and myself is live at kfan.com/watch. You can watch it weekdays at 8. Thanks to Quantum Fiber, your world unlimited.
Our morning show on a Monday. Muss not here today because he was at the Masters, but I believe Muss is coming back tomorrow. And he's joining us tomorrow, correct? Is he coming in tomorrow or not?
I can ask him, yeah.
So we have no bonus tomorrow, right? Because bonus is in Japan.
Yeah.
Rosie is, I assume, back from Circa tomorrow. Marnie's back tomorrow. So I guess we don't need Muss tomorrow if we have those two.
Well, we'd like to hear his master stories.
Yeah, but we could wait a week.
All right.
I mean, he's probably going to be hungover.
Yeah, good point. But, I mean, how is that any different from
a normal Monday?
Good point.
Oh, man, that's a really fair comeback.
Yeah. Well
so are you nervous that this is program password draft week? Thursday. You're one of the 8 draftable players.
Yeah, I know I'm not going to be last. Yeah, I
had a couple of rubes in Vegas say, do you know who you're going to pick? And I said, I haven't looked at the board yet, like top to bottom. I haven't ranked my selections 1 to 8 because it's NFL draft week in a week and a half. But more importantly, this is about me. Who am I going to draft? I have to defend my title. They took charge away from me.
Yeah.
And they said, do you know who you're going to pick in the draft? And I go, I can tell you a couple I ain't going to pick.
Yeah. Mustn't fallness.
So unless I get picked 7 or 8, I haven't looked at how I'm going to rank my top 4 or 5. Like if somebody said right now you have the number 1 pick in the draft, who you taking? I don't know.
Robbie.
I just don't know how to avoid those couple at the bottom.
It's Robbie. Robbie should be the number 1 pick. He's never lost.
He has never lost.
He's very good at it.
Actually, he's never lost.
He's never lost.
He's really good. Something like 5-0, 4-0, 5-0.
I don't know if I've ever listened to one with him on.
Might be a little beginner's luck though.
Maybe.
I was 5-0 at one point.
That is true. The Drip Brothers were at one point.
Creasel's very good.
Do you remember when we thought the Drip Brothers were going to be unstoppable? Yep. Common and Maxo? They were dismantled.
Yep, they fell off a little bit.
Yep. Well, yeah.
The drip went dry a little bit.
Kind of like the Suns when they meet the Wolves in the playoffs.
What a transition that was. That was fantastic.
Thank you.
Yeah, I just know that I won't be the last pick. I know who I would love to be paired with.
Go on.
You.
And?
You.
Just me.
Just you.
Aww. There's other people. Come on. There's other people you can win with.
Saucy?
Oh, yeah, I forgot. Yeah,
no big deal. Yeah, I'm just a background character.
What about Marnie?
No, Marnie, I don't know if I would do well with Marnie. It's you.
Why not?
You and I would win. We would. Ever since Chris Sale, how many have we won?
Yeah, I know.
We've won all of them. And we didn't beat, Muss and Fallness. Right. We beat Barb and Common. That's one of the best teams.
Look at it like this. We won. When I first glanced at the 8 available selections for program password, I thought, all right, there's about 2 that I feel like I would bet on myself that I'm the favorite if I pair myself with that person. Then there's about 3. I'm like, I think I could do some damage with those 3. Then there's about 2 or 3 that I'm like, I probably should just open my schedule.
Yeah.
I'm going to have some free time. You know what I'm saying?
Program password is so much about how well the 2 people working together know each other.
For sure.
You have to read each other's tendencies. You have to know how the other person thinks.
And they took charge from me.
Yeah, that's fine. That's
Chargy church.
I think you guys would make a great pair. I'm rooting for that to happen.
We haven't lost since the Chris Sale bit. I'm just saying.
How about Lil B and Marnie getting split up?
Yeah.
Oh, come on. I mean, they're not that good at the game.
How about
wow.
How about Little B and
we
Little B
smoked
and Nordo the other day? They were down. They scored, 50-something unanswered points?
Yeah.
2 weeks ago? That's incredible. She has to take Nordo.
And she should.
Yeah,
Nordo's really good at that
Nordo's
game,
really
too.
good, yeah.
His record's terrible, but he's much better than his record.
He's played with me, and yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm
the
way
draft.
better.
The draft is this Thursday.
Who would you take first, Maxo?
I know who I'm taking first.
Yeah.
I can't say though.
Can't give up his board.
I can't say though.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know who I'm taking first.
I bet I know who Max is taking
Carly?
first. That would be my guess.
Yeah.
I can't tell.
He's like, oh, wait, we have to play password now?
Yeah.
Oh.
What?
Who's the worst one?
Muss.
I mean, do we need to
Is
say
Muss
it?
worse than Fallness?
I feel
I've heard Fallness
Yes,
played.
Fallness has won, right? Has Muss won?
I don't know.
I
I don't think Muss has ever
But
won.
isn't Muss's bit always you have to go first?
Muss doesn't have any game theory in his head.
No.
Oh,
Muss took Tiger Woods.
Well played. Well played.
Correct.
How did he finish?
Mm-hmm.
Dead last?
Sauce, look at it like this. When you're looking at the 8 competitors who are draftable on Thursday, if at any point in your own evaluation, if you have to ask, am I sure that player understands the rules?
Oh, good point.
Then they're off the list.
Yeah.
And there's a couple of guys on that list. I'm not sure they understand how the game works, and I want them to not be paired with me on Thursday, but we'll see.
Okay, not to sidebar here, but speaking of drafts, am I back in the initials tournament? Get me back in. I've earned my spot.
You are eligible.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that. How many did you get the one time? That was 2 years ago.
2 years ago, Alexis
yeah.
and Audra
I've
were
won
Answer your
since then.
question 0.
Yeah.
Thanks, Halvey.
You are
You'll be
back
back.
in the eligible draft pool. You might make the field, you might not. Well, it'll be up to the
Who do I got
committee.
to talk to?
The committee.
Which is?
A whole bunch of us.
Beady eyes. But the
We'll
best
see.
thing that ever
It's
happened
this
for
summer.
you, though, is guess who got 0 last year? David. So David's out.
So who's out?
Yeah, who missed last year?
David.
Rosen,
Gorgie, right?
Gorg, Dav.
I don't think Rosie cares.
No.
Oh.
Was that it?
I
I
thought we
feel
had
like there
more
was one
shoutouts
more.
than that. I feel like there
the
was
first
two.
year it was just me and Audra, but last year there was a couple.
I think it's 3. I think it's
Gorg,
Dav.
Dav, and Rosen for sure. Am I forgetting somebody else?
I thought Rosie didn't score?
No.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, he stole one of my points in the first time around.
The only
That
2 I
bastard.
remember is Gorg and Rosie. But I feel like there was more than just the 3 of them.
I know I did a victory lap
we
when
go.
Dav got 0.
Oh,
Yeah.
I spent a whole weekend just binging cocaine, celebrating.
we're
Make it
missing
100?
2.
Go ahead.
So Gorg, Dav, Chad Greenway,
Oh, that's not true.
Greenway's out.
Greenway's
And-
out?
Lavelle E. Neal.
Oh, yeah. I won money off of that.
Oh, that's right. All right, so there's 5 that are off the board. So we need 5 new players in. So Audra and Alexis might be 2 of those. We'll see.
Back up to the top.
I wonder if
You know what the worst case? You asked him about worst case scenario for the Vikings. Worst case scenario is I hype myself up. I beg to get back in. You're like, all right, you're in, and then I get 0 again.
maybe you
That
have to
would be
wait.
worst case scenario.
Yeah, then you're like the Olympics every other
Then
year.
I feel like I should be eliminated permanently.
Oh, well, we can get there when we get there.
Yeah, maybe
Oh.
double elimination. You're off
done.
the game.
Put it on the line.
You're
Yeah,
done.
you're done.
That's
Maybe
not
that adds a little bit of pressure
Yeah,
for the people
yeah.
that get.
It's like a
added.
career match in WWE,
Like you get-
loser has to retire.
Yeah, you get one
can't just
buyback.
keep letting people back in.
I feel like we got to have a fun way of getting people back in somehow, though.
They have the loser bracket.
Yeah, the loser bracket.
game, like a loser
all the
game.
losers play against each other.
There's enough people now that you could have a whole
We were
loser
going to
game.
do that the first year, but then only
Correct.
me and Audra
Yeah,
lost.
we had decided if 4 or 5 people got shut out, we would have a play-in game, but just we didn't want a heads-up match and highlight that Alexis and Audra were the 2 that got shut out. Anyway, program password draft this Thursday. All right, let's do Fan 5. There's a couple of sports things we should probably discuss.
It's time for Fan 5, brought to you by Builders and Remodelers.
Hey, thanks, Builders and Remodelers. Scotty Scheffler won the Masters. That is his second Masters win. Only 5 attempts so far. Second win in 5 career starts. That's the second fewest all time. He's also the 4th youngest now at 27 to win multiple green jackets. He shot a 4 under 68, a 4-shot win, 4-stroke win over Sweden's Ludvig Åberg, who was just fantastic. That kid looks like he's the real deal. He shot a 3 under 69. Honestly, outside of putting in that one ball in the water, just a super consistent round.
He's very good.
He looks very
He's
good.
what, 24?
He looks
24.
very comfortable, too.
He does.
All right, Zach.
So Scheffler finishes at minus 11, 27 shots ahead of Tiger Woods.
How did he
Fleetwood,
finish?
Dead last. Fleetwood, Homa, and Morikawa tied for third at minus 4. So if you were following the power trip bet, Scheffler was the go, so he wiped the entire thing away. We still have yet to have a hole-in-one winner in the, almost 2 years that we've been doing the hole-in-one.
I forgot about that.
Nobody's hit one in yet. Which, by the way, when you have a cut, like Hovland, I hit Hovland this weekend. When you have a cut and Hovland didn't make it, that's just a whole bunch more opportunities for him to not get a hole-in-one.
Well said, yeah.
So even if you are 10 shots back, you're like, just put one in from 180 and let's call it a day.
Zalatoris got close on 16.
Very close, yeah.
Yeah, he got very close, yeah. Oh, yeah, it's the best. It sucks. I tweeted this the other day. It sucks that we only get to see that golf course played once a year. It's a stunning golf course. Visually, it's awesome. I just love it. And it's over. It goes by very quickly. It's the best golf tournament of the year, and it's over.
So one of the most creative tweets/memes I've seen in a while. So did you see where Vern Lundquist was sitting on the hole? Was that 16? What hole does he sit at?
It's 16, yeah.
So Vern Lundquist, his final Masters ever, right? He's in a chair sitting in the shade behind a tree right off the I don't know, the green, I guess, maybe on 16.
He sits behind the green. Yeah.
Wait, that's where he announces?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. He's sitting in a chair in the shade and just gets a nice little vantage point of the golfers there. So Tiger Woods walks over because it's Vern's last and shakes his hand in the chair, right? Like classy little move. Well, there's a camera shot, though, where it looks like Tiger Woods is shaking hands with the tree because Vern Lundquist is sitting behind the tree. So it just looks like you see Tiger's hand going into the tree. And then they paired it with the car crash from 12, 13 years ago.
Oh no!
And it was something like
apology accepted.
Yeah, exactly. Apology accepted. It was basically like delayed apology
People are too
to
quick.
the tree.
It was
Wow.
They're too
It's
quick.
so good. Find it on social.
Yeah,
it's
it's
really
super
good.
good.
It looks like he's shaking the tree's hand.
The internet never fails.
Sorry about the crash. My bad.
There were a bunch of good memes off of that. It was
Apology
very funny.
accepted.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, they
Vern Lundquist is the man.
he's the man, and the goodbye was just all right. Like when Scotty got to 9 under, the whole thing kind of just everybody knew he was going to win. I think on like hole 11 or 12, they showed him as like the only people that have won 2 Masters and the youngest people to do it, right? So they'd already conceded that he's going to win. So the luster of Vern's call and all that was they just kind of said goodbye. He choked up a tad. Nance thanked him for everything, and then they just moved on. It was over and out.
It is weird that Vern Lundquist and others, but Vern specifically, has the ability to make something that is so mundane way more important than it is, right? Like, it's really a grown man putting a golf ball, but it'll be like, masterful.
Yeah,
and you're
Vern's
like,
the
yeah,
best.
it was masterful.
Yeah.
Right? If I'm sitting at a poker table and some commentator goes, what a breathtaking fold.
Yeah.
You go, he just threw cards on the table. But somehow golf is this magical thing, and it is a lot because of the announcers. And Vern Lundquist is a great, Nance is a great example of that as well.
Vern called that shot with the ball of Tiger's ball rolling and rolling and rolling. I mean, Vern's iconic.
Well, he also has I think the greatest call in golf history.
Which is that?
From Happy Gilmore, when the ball comes like up the ramp and back, and Vern just goes, no.
It's brilliant.
It's the best. He's one of the goats.
He's one of the
Lundquist.
goats, yeah. Is he retired from everything now, or is it just the Masters? Because he's
good question. I know he's
everything.
retiring from the Masters. He's done with everything. Oh, well, hopefully, since Sandler is saying he's bringing back almost everybody for Happy Gilmore.
Yeah, he's got to
have Vern and Happy Gilmore too.
Yeah,
if you're going to do it right.
Yeah.
No,
it's so good.
So anyway, Scheffler wins almost $4 million. His wife did not go into labor. Scotty said all week long and all weekend long, including even yesterday, that if she had gone into labor, he was out of there.
Yeah.
Which, can you imagine? For everybody involved, it would have sucked if he left.
Yeah.
But can you imagine? That's one of the all-time sports stories. The guy who's leading the Masters on
leaves.
Sunday just says, I'm out of here. And it would have been his choice. It would have been 2 weeks of ESPN debating should Scotty F. Scheffler have left the Masters. And is he a good dad? Is he a terrible competitor? Was this right? Was this fair? Does he care about winning? The money doesn't matter to him. It would have been 2 weeks of, can you believe that?
I think he takes that stance after Hardy already won the green jacket.
Yeah.
If he didn't win 2 years ago,
Interesting.
I bet you he would have stayed.
I mean, the crazy thing is though, like with labor, like it could be hours. It
A
could
day.
be a day.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
she could be like, I'm going into labor, and it could be tomorrow that you have the baby.
That was
so
kind of the point I made earlier.
Yeah.
Is if you get the call on hole 9 that she's going into labor and she's in Texas and you're in Atlanta or whatever, you're in Georgia.
Yeah.
You just finished
I think
the round.
if that were me, I'd be like, finish the putt and then get here.
I actually, in a weird way, I would say you probably should just let him finish and then call him like on 18 and say, I'm going into labor. Just delay the phone call for 2 hours.
Okay, yeah.
Right,
and try to time it out.
You're putting Scotty in a terrible spot. Now, again, if she goes into labor at 2:00 in the morning on Sunday, then you say it's happening. Are you going to play or not?
I mean, that's one heck of a push present, though. Your husband comes home with $4 million. And you have a baby.
Jacket.
That's like the best month of your life.
I think the one thing that a lot of people pointed out on social media how does he find out? You can't have a cell phone on the course.
Oh,
so
official.
like I know unofficial somebody
can easily tell you.
But then that's a good question. Would they would they make an exception and like allow him to FaceTime while she's doing the thing?
Interesting.
Like Everson?
The right way to do it would have been
Great point, by the way.
wait for Scheffler to get to 16 and you have Vern Lundquist tell him. Go, your wife's having a baby. Please leave. There's 2 holes to go.
Yeah.
Get out of here.
I have money on Colin.
I have Oberg at 70-1.
Right.
Please leave.
Or Vern tells him 9 pounds, 6 ounces, and you missed it, but sorry.
Some random guy tells you the birth of your baby.
Or maybe
the
like
name.
Wait,
maybe,
9 pounds, 6 ounces?
That's a big baby.
That's a huge bitch. Freak. Does that get played once a day?
Probably.
At least.
I feel like that is secretly something. This is your Seinfeld Superman.
Oh, I like that.
Good bit.
At some point in time, I feel like every day you've worked that in.
It applies to a lot of things.
Maybe Maybe I should just say, like, it's going to be in every show. Maybe only once. Maybe I don't hammer it more than once. Paul, your hands up.
Remember about a week ago when Muss had the worst draft take of all time? Don't say what it is, but you know what it is.
Yeah.
A very reputable drafter believes it and agrees with Muss.
Dear God.
Oh, no.
What a tease.
You suck.
We'll find out what that is after this on The Fan.
The Fan and BigDeck.com want to help put $1,000 in your hand. Listen weekdays for your shot to win.
It's Lil B for my guys at BigDeck.com. Getting a tax refund?
For you to explore right now, like Deep Cuts. Featuring deep album tracks from iconic artists like the Beatles, Led Zeppelin, Pink Floyd, The Who, The Stones, and more. Just open the free iHeartRadio app, search Deep Cuts, and listen now.
iHeartRadio.
iHeartRadio. Free never sounded so good.
Perception. Car buying is stressful. Reality. It's easy to do business with us. Perception. Interest rates are high. Reality. Luther Brookdale Mitsubishi is offering 0% on SUVs and up to $2,750 off on Outlanders. See dealer for details. Exclusively at Luther Mitsubishi.
Luther, speaking of Luther, it's the Luther Tire event going on right now and all month long at all Luther locations. So if you know where one is and you need some tires, get in there now and you can get a $100 Luther gift card if you buy a set of tires. You get 4 tires, you get a Luther gift card. It's pretty sweet. 45 locations. Find them online at lutherauto.com. They are your automotive authority for everything. If you're going to buy or lease, you go to Luther. Same thing with maintenance. If you want to sell your vehicle, you can sell it to Luther. But this entire month, the month of April, is the Luther Tire event. So they will pair you with a factory-trained expert, help you pick out the tires. If you know exactly what tires you want, that's even easier, but they can definitely help you if you need some help. They have brand tires, names that you know and trust. Selection second to none. You get Luther's everyday low pricing. There's no reason not to go to Luther when you're thinking about tires. So go there today. One of those 45 locations. Again, if you don't know where they are, it's lutherauto.com. Buy 4 tires, get a $100 Luther gift card. Luther and lutherauto.com.
Most online dating profiles are works of fiction. At It's Just Lunch, we are all about fun, real-life dates set up by real dating experts. Save the fiction for your nightstand and call It's Just Lunch today. Visit itsjustlunchtwincities.com or call 612-355-2727.
April showers bring wet basements. Standard Water Control is the waterproofing foundation repair and sump pump expert since 1977. Installation, service, and repair for all wet basement issues. Peace of mind starting at just $199. Visit standardwater.com for details. Standardwater.com.
Visit Arthur's Jewelers Engagement Ring and Diamond Event April 16th through the 20th. Explore remarkable diamond values. Get 10% off their everyday best price. Plus, Arthur's will pay your sales tax on all diamonds, rings, and jewelry. You'll save up to $1,000 to $2,000 on a typical engagement ring. Shop Arthur's. They'll exceed your expectations.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today. 1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate your car today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car, running or not, can be picked up as soon as the next day. You'll get a maximum tax deduction and a vacation voucher.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
Meat Sauce here for my friends at Window Nation and windownation.com. It was stunning outside yesterday. It's going to be stunning going forward because it's springtime and it's the best time to open those windows and let that beautiful spring air in. If you can open your windows, if your windows are cracked, if your windows are old and they're just out of date and they've got those ugly hinge screens on them that we all had to put on windows when we were a kid, get rid of that. Don't do that anymore. Get the best windows from Window Nation, windownation.com. You get 2 free windows with every 2 you buy. Plus, you pay nothing for 2 full years. It's the best deal in windows. It's the best deal of all time. We had the windows open yesterday. It was awesome. If you can't do that, you're missing out. And when it gets warmer out, you got to shut your windows and turn the AC on. If you have bad, ugly, cracked windows, all of that air is going to go out your windows. Get new windows from Window Nation, windownation.com. That's windownation.com. You get 2 free windows with every 2 you buy. Plus, you pay nothing, no interest for 2 full years. windownation.com. Hey, Meat Sauce, what else you got? If you're in a pinch, call Finch Home Solutions, your local electrical home service specialists.
After the power trip, it's 9 to noon. Vikings talkers for sure, but we're your home for the Howl, and it's a countdown. Game 1, Wolves and Phoenix Suns. We have TV Vox Michael Grady, the analyst, Jim Pete in studio, that and so much more. PA after the power trip on the Fan.
Thanks, Nardo. And speaking of the Timberwolves, your Minnesota Timberwolves are headed to the playoffs, and you can be there for every electrifying moment. Head over to our contest page each day to register for our Timberwolves verified fan window. Give yourself a chance to win a grand prize of tickets to every Timberwolves home game for the 2024 NBA playoffs. It's KFAN.com. Make the keyword contest to enter. Let's go.
All right, Sauce, let's pay off the tease.
Okay, so about, 2 weeks ago, Muss suggested that he and Charch were texting, and Muss's take was the Minnesota Vikings should take back-to-back quarterbacks in the draft.
At 11 and 23.
At 11 and 23,
now,
right?
Just for reference, though, Ben, he did bring Charch into this conversation against Charch's will. Yeah. Because Charch's theory for years has always been at some point in the draft, not always the first round, at some point in the draft, you should almost always be drafting a quarterback.
100%.
Just to keep the cupboard filled, right? Keep taking flyers. Maybe one of them hits, right? So Muss drags Charch into this argument by going, yeah, I was texting with Charch, making it sound like Charch agreed with him. I don't think that he does.
No.
He just likes the idea of drafting a quarterback. So picks 11 and 23 quarterback would probably be pretty gross. But Sauce, you said a reputable source agrees with Muss.
So Pro Football Focus, PFF or whatever that is, they started that like the mock draft simulator bit.
Yeah.
It's a ton of draft, right? They have the Minnesota Vikings at pick 9 moving up and taking Drake May. Fine. That'd be sweet.
Okay, yeah.
That'd be great.
Yeah, that'd be great.
A home run.
Yeah. Which means that we probably keep our 23.
Yeah. But they move back from pick 23 and they take at pick 34 Michael Penix Jr.
Is that worst case scenario than your original worst case scenario?
And
I would hate that.
I love the draft.
Offense.
I love the draft. But we have too much time.
Okay, see, that's
is
why.
what this
look,
is.
I know that PFF is very polarizing. People love them. You know, when it supports your take, people love them, right? But this is yet another example that I think that they're a bunch of morons. Why would you do that? Like, really, why would any GM look at that situation and say, I'm going to take, Penix, for some people a lot of people think that he's going to be a good player in the NFL. Like he's going to be a starting good player in the NFL. I understand if you want to use maybe your we have multiple fifths or something like that, or multiple fourths and a fifth. If you want to take a 5th round quarterback, fine.
Yeah.
I'm all for that. No big deal. That's no big deal. You need to have competition. You need to compete with your backups. But to basically take 2 starting caliber quarterbacks and have them on the same roster in the same draft, I think that's ridiculous.
It's fireable.
It's fireable.
Yeah.
Like
it doesn't make any sense.
When Washington took RG3 and then took Kirk Cousins in the 4th round, that was head scratching. People are like, what just happened here? If you traded up and then traded back down, got some more equity, but you took a quarterback at 34, I don't know what would happen. It's not going to happen.
See,
it would be very weird.
Just to rail on their metrics and their whole approach. If they're applying their sort of values logic to this is why people clown them all the time.
Well said. Yes.
They might be like, well, if you look at the simulations and you look at the values, well, the values say that we should take this guy, and the predictability and the statistics and all this other stuff say that you take another quarterback. That's dumb. That's just dumb football.
I love that your nerd voice is a lot like mine and a lot like Conan O'Brien's. It sounds like your nerd voice is selling newspapers in the 1930s.
Yeah. Hey, get here.
Look at these models that I just put together. Statistics. Again, Sauce, no one talks more draft than you. And we like talking the NFL draft here, but I think you're right. This is we've run out of ideas.
And I
what
agree.
other things can we throw out there?
You can't have it Masters weekend because that gets its own weekend. But it should be this week. It should be Thursday. It's just too much time in between.
It's too much time in between.
And I love it. I watch all the SportsCenter specials. I read a lot of mock drafts. But now you're looking for clicks, and there's nothing else to talk about.
Yeah.
It needs to happen.
And this is we're going deeper in the weeds, but again, this is why I think this revamped offseason that the NFL has that they adopted with the new CBA, it's not good for player development, young player development. So these guys are going to be drafted on Thursday in 10 days or whatever. The team's already been doing their first phase and all that other stuff.
Yeah, the Vikings have something today,
and that's kind of normal. We were checking in mid-March, and you still had to draft several weeks away. But they basically have to hit the ground sprinting with these new teams. If you're going to draft a first-round quarterback and you want them to be ready by training camp and into the season, then they have to be drafted. They have all this hoopla. They have all this pomp and circumstance with all the press conferences and all this other stuff. They get handed the playbook. They got to meet all these people. And all of a sudden they're like, here's your team. And oh, by the way, we start OTAs in about 2 weeks.
Right.
We're on the field in about 2 weeks.
And you're quarterback. In some cases, you're quarterback one.
In some cases, you're quarterback number 1 in about 2 weeks when we start OTAs.
Yeah.
And then we're gonna have a
with guys you've never met.
Right. And it's all going to be just completely minimized because the CBA and the Players Association, a bunch of clowns and bozos over there that they're like, "Oh, well, we're not actually going to do much because we got to we got to hide behind this player safety and taking care of our guys." So there's very little full speed things happening. And then you go into what they call quote unquote mini camp, which is basically OTAs now because they've neutered that too. They've just cut the balls off all of the whole offseason. And then they're like, "Oh, go on vacation for 4 or 5, for 5 or 6 weeks because we don't want to see you. You guys got to get away." And for all the older vets, they're like, "Yeah, we got to get away. Like, I need to clear my head, do one more last vacation before we check in for camp, and then I don't have a life until the end of the football season." And then they come back and you're expecting them to actually pick up, be the leader on the team, pick up the playbook. Again, training camp.
Be in shape.
That's completely neutered. There's no more two-a-days. You're doing one walkthrough and then one truncated practice. Like, they are killing these guys, especially the young quarterbacks, that they're expected to go in there and actually be leaders of billion-dollar franchises.
You are
electric. Nailed it. I thought that was a good sports segment.
Yeah, well
right?
said.
Excellent tease. Well done, Paul.
Thank you.
Now it's time for headlines.
Brought to you by our friends at Wolf River Electric. You can go solar with Wolf River Electric. Look into it. Go solar. It's a lot easier than you think. All right, ready? A man traveled across the country pretending to be a priest named Father Martin to get into churches, and then he would steal stuff from the churches.
What is wrong with people?
Can I ask a question? Other than the cash, what are you stealing from a church?
Well, you start with the money.
Yeah, no,
you start with, but after you take that, then what
they
else?
just put it in baskets.
What do you
They have it just on hand.
They
It's
got
easy.
a lot of wine.
The TV, like the
Statues,
sound
maybe?
system?
The cookies they hand out.
Yeah. The statue of Jesus. I mean, what are you stealing?
No. You can steal anything.
Sure, but
You're not stealing pews. You walking out, you like unbolting pews and walking out with
And
pews.
selling
Maybe there's a black
pews are
market for
us? What are you
pews on
doing
the dark web. I don't know what you do with pews.
I got a guy.
Yeah.
2 men in New Jersey have been accused of stealing shopping carts. So many of them, it may be in the hundreds.
Hundreds.
So they have been called the shopping cart bandits.
Home Alone 5.
Much like, what do you do with pews?
Yeah, again, what are we doing with shopping carts?
What would you do with hundreds of shopping carts?
Were they selling them or are they just hoarding them?
Don't
But
know.
who's buying a shopping cart?
All the other
is
homeless
the other
people.
question.
Bubbles
what money?
from
They have
Park
money.
Boys.
Oh, they have money.
I want one of those, the motorized ones. That'd be fun. Travel those around.
The rascal with the basket on the
Yes.
front?
Wasn't it, Sauce, you were going to get one of those, weren't you, at one point?
He's going to get a scooter, but...
Oh, no, not a no.
Hover round?
No, but that's what I feel like. I'm on a hover round when I play golf with people who, like exercise, and then I kind of slowly drive next to them while they're walking to their ball. I feel like the fat dad in the rascal, which I kind of am.
Yeah, just a matter of time.
When you ask somebody if they want to ride and they say no, and you're just like, ugh.
Yeah.
There were a couple of guys at Lake Mead, Benjamin Lieber.
Which has water in it now, by the way, which is cool.
Which
yeah,
is
you were
good.
staring at that as we were flying over at
loved it.
Zacho.
There were some rock formations that it took nature millions of years to create these kind of cool rock formations, but 2 guys were caught on camera trying to destroy them.
Why?
People have too much time on their hands.
I know, they really do.
Honestly.
Too much.
Great song.
So, but the headline says 2 jerks were caught on camera destroying rock formations at Lake Mead that took millions of years to create, right? If it's not a national monument or something, if you just go into nature and push rocks over, what can you get?
Is that all they were doing, or were they like chiseling stuff out? Yeah.
Don't know. I just wonder what that means. If they're pushing stuff, can you get in trouble for pushing rocks into a lake?
Can I ask a stupid question that you may have said, and I may don't know this?
I may don't know this. You're doing great.
Is Lake Mead a national park?
No.
Yes.
It is?
Then you can't.
Lake Mead National Recreation Area.
That's a protected area.
Lake Mead is a national park?
That's got to be, man.
Right?
Why is it got to be?
National park, you can't. Right? There's got to be laws you can't destroy anything in a national park.
But even if it's not a national park, couldn't they
I mean, isn't it vandalism?
Yeah, it's vandalism or like public disorderly or something. I mean, if you're
what I'm
causing
saying
enough
is,
ruckus.
like, it's a rock formation, right? So the rocks are it's not an art piece. It's just they're randomly put into a
yeah.
So if you change the random order to a different random order, but you're just pushing the rocks around.
That's art.
I don't know. We're asking a lot of questions that are not worded great, and we don't have the answers to them.
It says collecting, rock hounding, and gold panning of rocks, minerals, and paleontological specimens is generally prohibited in the national park system.
Generally.
Generally. Yeah.
So what kind of rock stealing is legal? Is the real question.
Good question.
Probably just a rock that you just walk by on a trail, maybe.
These are
like you can
probably
take
things
that.
people don't think about because who's assuming people are going to go kick rocks over? I mean,
It's a fun phrase, though. Go kick rocks.
yeah, kick rocks is a great phrase.
Hey, Sauce, you know how from time to time when we see this stat that, like, U.S. women have the largest bra size in the world, and you get all excited about it, and then you go, well, it's probably, well, because I'm saying you're here all the time.
Yeah, well, at Hawkside.
But we've done that stat in the past. It's like, all right, the U.S. women is like, whatever. They're number one in the world for bra size. And you go, well, before we get all excited about it, it really is just because a lot of us are overweight.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. The highest BMI of any other
so
country
that
in
just
the world.
so that just checks out that fills everything out, right?
Yeah.
American women, when it comes to butt sizes, are 11th.
How do you measure butt size? Circumference?
South Africa has the largest female butts. Argentina is second, followed by Sweden. U.S. 11th.
Sweden?
I don't know.
South
Sweden
Africa
has sweet slabs?
Argentina,
I
Sweden.
don't know, man. Just my personal, on my personal ranking list. I don't know if Sweden is up above the U.S. I'm gonna have to go back and do some more research.
Maybe on a per capita basis.
That's a good point. Yeah, as per capita.
You've seen that movie.
There is a
Only the sixth one is the best.
There is a 30-pound cat in Indiana.
That's a huge bitch.
There it is.
That's slimming down using an exercise regimen usually reserved for dogs. I don't even really care about the story, right? They're trying to get the cat to lose about another 10 pounds. The only reason I'm bringing it up is the name of the cat. It's a 30-pound cat trying to lose weight, and the cat's name is Thicken Nugget.
Oh, buddy.
That's great.
That's a fantastic name for a fat cat.
Great.
Thicken Nugget.
How big is the cat?
30 pounds.
So Thicken was thick when Thicken was a kitten.
Maybe. Or you wonder
when Thicken was a kitten.
Right. You wonder if it was an adopted name later.
They adopted it when it was,
You grow into your name.
Yeah.
So, I mean.
Yeah.
Ben, you got to go, right?
Yeah, I
so
gotta go.
end on this. The world's oldest gorilla just celebrated another birthday. Her name is Fatu.
That was the cat's name.
She lives in the Berlin Zoo. She turned how old on Friday? This is really just how old do you think a gorilla can live? Because this is the world's oldest known gorilla is
37.
Anybody else?
That's a great question.
Well, Fatuan made it to like 70.
I was
so
going to say 60. I'm going to say 62.
I'm going to say 100.
I'm going to go 72.
80.
She turned 67 on Friday.
Dang!
2 more years, baby.
67.
Two
She might get
years,
there, buddy.
baby.
She might get there.
All right, love you guys.
3 o'clock.
See you
See you Twin Cities
Thursday.
Live.
3 o'clock.
All right.
Twin Cities
See you
Live.
Twin Cities
Thursday,
Live
bud.
today, 3 to 4:30. You can watch Elizabeth Reese and Ben Lieber on Channel 5, and then Ben's back with us on Thursday. See you, Ben.
Bye, Ben.
Bye.
Bye.
The Golden Bachelor. It's already over for the Golden Bachelor.
So sad.
They
Oh my
lasted
God.
3 months of
I didn't
marriage.
think they were that old.
Sources say it was because she didn't want to leave her life and her job in New Jersey.
Well, then
Shouldn't that
why
have
are you
been
on the show?
How has that not been
No
discussed?
offense, lady.
so stupid?
Zach, the Golden Bachelor, would you?
No.
The lady, Woodhawk.
Of course.
That show sucked, and everybody watched it.
It was
People
kind
love
of
that show.
touching, but like,
Well, yuck.
Icky.
yeah.
Don't touch each other.
Zach, what age, regardless of gender, regardless of
Nipples.
orientation, regardless of the number of nipples, as we learned earlier with Harry
58.
Styles, what's the number people should stop dating?
58.
58.
This is such a sad
That's
question.
sad.
When you hit 58, you should just give up. If you're not already, so you're saying if you're obviously married, you should stay with that person. Is that what you're
you
saying?
should divorce them.
Okay,
Of
but
course.
if you're single at 58, just live the rest of your life by yourself.
Yeah, my grandma did.
Point of
That's
no
not
return.
true.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, she never had a boyfriend or a husband.
No.
She hooked up.
No, she didn't.
Yes, she did.
At 45, she lost her husband, and she never took another lover.
There's no way that's true.
I think it's true, man.
Even a one-night stand.
My grandma didn't either.
Yeah.
If I'm single at 58, I'm getting out there.
Yeah, see, Alexis is
100%.
getting out there.
God, Rosie
100%.
hopes he lives forever now.
That's
Or
58.
hoping Alexis
58?
time travels.
58 is so young nowadays.
Oh my gosh, it's so old.
Zach!
Zach, I'm almost 44. Hawk's almost 54.
Zach.
You don't think Chris should keep dating?
He's
if
got
he
a couple more years.
4 more years?
He's got 4 wonderful years.
Helby, if
And
you're
then hang it
single
up.
at 58, you're throwing in the towel.
Yeah, I'm throwing in the
Zach,
towel at 50, but
You were the guy.
You're done at 50.
Well, when are you
Why-
going to start dating?
Why do you have a different line than everybody else?
I mean, you can have your own personal line. It just shouldn't be above 58. That's the point of no return.
So like Tinder should just delete itself off your phone when you're
1000%.
58.
How many single people do we know here at the Fan that are 58 and above?
Yeah, a lot of people are offended right now, Zach.
I don't.
None?
Who's single at 58 and higher?
I mean, you can still get it on.
I
You
don't know if
shouldn't,
they're
but you
high.
can. Just
You
don't.
know,
You
you
shouldn't. Just don't date.
Zach,
can't
hold
get
on a
it
second.
on?
Time out a
Okay.
second.
That's
Okay, so
crossing
one
the
night
line.
stand is okay, but
Time out.
Yeah.
72 hours ago, you were going to take a bath in a Las Vegas bathtub that has more DNA on it than a show
Make
about
it 36
DNA.
hours, but yeah.
How are the people who are 50 and older weird? You're the
It's
weird
not
one.
weird. It's not about being weird. It's about being, I don't know.
Yeah, what's the word? Being what? Gross?
It's like, you're free, man. You're 58 and older. Go live your life on your own, man.
Hang on. So
okay,
clarify
wait.
here. So you're saying hook up, don't
Yeah.
date. Okay, I thought you meant just shut it all down.
Okay.
No,
I
mean,
think
if
he
you wanna-
did, and
if
then
you-
we backed him into a corner.
No, if you want to get it
I
on,
agree.
get it on. But like, you're going to start. No, because we're talking about the Golden Bachelor. We're talking about getting married.
Yep, okay.
Yeah, but then you said they shouldn't be touching at all. That's gross.
You did say
After one, maybe 2 nights, maybe a third if you're
Okay,
having
wait,
really fun.
question. Halvey, you're 58. Timothy
Yeah.
Chalamet's 58. You're both single. He wants to marry you.
Yes,
You're saying no?
I do.
Okay, so
That took a lot of
We're
convincing.
all hypocrites.
yes, I
but-
do.
I don't know. Somebody said that. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's if you get to that point, and again, if they're a 10 like Timothy, then yeah, of course. But live your life, man. You're gonna get Social Security in a few years. You're gonna be rich.
Wait. Rosie got married at 72.
Should he just call it quits?
yeah, live your
just
life.
Have
Just
this take tomorrow. see
throw
what
the ring
Rosie
in the
says.
garbage?
I think you should get married at 80 if you feel like it.
Right.
Who cares?
What's your problem, Zach?
Fine, get married whenever you want. Just don't do a TV show
Wait,
about it.
not whenever.
No, the show sucks. I'm on your side with that.
I guess that's really what turned me off about 58 and older marriages, because that Golden Bachelor show just makes me sick.
Yeah, Hawk said it was like sad to watch.
Yes, because they're like old and like, a lot of these people have lost spouses or like gone through
Rosie.
divorces.
You know what? I'm going to apologize. I'm going to say this. That's why I said 58, because that show makes a mockery of old love. There
I
are
just
good
felt-
old love stories out there. And Rosie's one of them, and that's good. You want to see more of that, but you don't need to be like Rosie. You don't want to make a big deal about it. You don't need to tell everybody in their family. You don't need to take photos and videos and everything like that. Just
Right. So what you're saying is, if there's a group of like 15 women
yes,
that are just desperate for any man and are willing to just fight and claw and beg, make sure you're in your 20s, right? It's disgusting to do it in your 50s or 60s. Do it when
Yeah.
you are the
because
most
half
desperate.
the fun about
20s.
watching The Bachelor is going, they're kind of hot.
See, I felt bad when I saw that they divorced because I'm like, how many other women on that show probably would have like made a good fit with this
Yeah.
guy, and then this lady marries him for 3 months and then divorces him? Like all these other ladies are probably mad.
Oh, it's over.
She's a catch. She'll
I'm gonna get
find-
married when I'm 100, and then we're gonna circle back on this.
Zach and I will be
I think
long
that-
dead.
That gorilla is too old too, by the way.
What? All right. What's your problem?
Wow.
I mean, honestly,
interspecies.
Now I'm with Zach because technically she's the oldest one that we know of. So by definition, any dude is going like, I guess I'm going to take that old lady, right?
Yeah.
Like if you're a strong, like young silverback gorilla and you can just rip a face off a human being in 2 seconds if you wanted to, you don't settle for a frail old gorilla. You find I almost said a ripe one.
Oh my God.
A young one. You find a young one.
You guys.
Oh my God.
You don't find
All right.
Grandma Gorilla. She's 67.
Yeah, man.
Oh, but Grandma Gorilla's got some moves, though.
That is a real silverback. And she lives in Berlin, so you know she speaks German, and that's the worst possible language.
Yeah, it's scary
It's
sounding.
scary.
The Silverback Bachelor. I actually would watch that show. That would be fun.
Okay, so you're on board with old gorilla Bachelor, but not old people Bachelor?
I mean, yeah, just
Okay, so just to clarify, I want to tell me if this sentence
to
is
watch.
true. You would like elderly gorillas to hook up on film.
Sure.
And you would watch it and you would love it. And it would be called the Silverback Bachelor.
No. I just
You
want
just
to. I just want to see a gorilla like hand a rose to another old gorilla. That'd be fun to watch.
You've been drawing some odd lines.
What is
today, Hal.
wrong with you?
You're the guy who goes to the zoo by himself and scares every kid there.
He's
Why is
also
that
the guy
taking
First of all,
pictures
I
of the
wouldn't,
gorillas.
I wouldn't go to the zoo by myself.
He's also the guy that was going to bathe in a disgusting Las Vegas
They
bathtub.
clean them, man.
No, they
clean 'em.
don't.
They clean them. I'm clean. There's literally soap in the water that I'm using to clean myself, so it's all clean.
So many
Think about it.
people have cowabunged in that thing.
Yeah, so
Have I told the
same with
story about how we
mattress.
used a Vegas drawer as a container for jungle juice when we were in Vegas?
Oh, that's badass.
Go on.
Like a dresser drawer.
We got to convert her, by the way. She hates Vegas, and we got.
I don't hate it. I just did it once, and that was enough for me.
No,
It was
it's not.
fun.
You did it wrong.
We got to convert you. We can get you there. Let's see here. Dua Lipa is going to do double duty as host and musical guest on SNL on May 4th.
Love her.
Should be all right, right?
Yeah, she's great.
I love her.
Yeah, she's very good.
We talked about this on Friday, but over the weekends, it sounds like it was confirmed. Just in case you were wondering, there was no deathbed confession from O.J. Simpson.
Damn it.
So everybody's saying, are we sure he didn't leave a note, didn't do a video? We talked about it Friday morning when we were saying how awesome that would be if he had.
Yeah.
Well, now it's Monday, and they're saying
That's the least he
there
could have
is
done.
absolutely
Can you imagine
no
on his like
deathbed confession.
He did leave a "if I did it" confession, though.
Correct, the book.
But like,
What if he left a scavenger hunt? What if there's some kind of note that leads to a riddle, and then Nick Cage goes across the country and finds an eventual video where he admits he did the whole thing?
Can you imagine the Frank Underwood who played him, Kevin Spacey, right? So Spacey's got that like YouTube channel that he's come out with like random creepy videos.
Holiday
Can you imagine
videos.
if on YouTube just out of the blue, O.J. Simpson, and it's just him in a room, just be like, "Hey, it's O.J. If you're seeing this, I'm dead, but here's what really happened. I went to Cato's house and stuff, and then like details the grisly murder."
Cato's house was OJ's house.
Well,
you mean the guest house?
Yes, and said, "Hey, I'm gonna go kill my wife and that waiter."
Does Barrero still have Cato on? That was all the rage for a while.
Ryan Donaldson had to pick him up from the airport or something.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
I had no idea who he was when he came in the first time.
Really? You're too young.
I missed that hype. That would have been fun.
It was
That would have been right up my alley.
unbelievable,
How long ago was the trial?
Mid-90s.
And
Okay.
how long did it last?
Oh,
A couple of years?
yeah.
It was a while.
Maybe
yeah.
years?
Year and a half?
Year
maybe?
and a half, yeah.
It was a long-ass trial.
Yeah.
I might be a little bit off, but it was long. It was months and months and months.
11 months.
Yeah.
Okay, 11 months.
And the
Yeah.
whole thing was on TV every single
Every
day,
day.
so I'm sure it felt a lot longer.
My wife was 6 when it happened. She loves it is the wrong term, but she's fascinated by it.
That OJ Made in America documentary, the 3-part
the
one,
best documentary of all time.
It's up there with The Last
That's
Dance.
on
It's,
Netflix,
it's
right?
It's incredible.
But think about it like this, for those of you who didn't live through it. Because it was on TV all the time, it wasn't just OJ is famous. We all knew the name of the judge. We
Yeah.
knew all the names of the lawyers. We knew all the names of the witnesses.
Can you imagine
the Mark
that
Furmans of
happening
the
during
world.
the age of social media?
I know,
And this was-
100%.
the OJ case was kind of the first iteration of like a 24/7 news cycle, right? Like where something's just like constantly being bombarded, broadcast at you all the time, all day, every day.
In today's world, and this, I'm using this person as an example because they're in everything, like OJ was, commercials, movies, sports. It would be like if The Rock was convicted of double murder. You'd go, what? Like OJ was a rising movie star at that point, right?
Yeah,
Like,
he was beloved.
He was everything. And all of a sudden you're like, wait, why? Like they interrupted the NBA finals with the chase and all that. It was unbelievable.
Yeah, that chase was super surreal.
Yeah, Bob Costas was on the Today Show talking about that the other day, about how they had to do the split screen.
Yeah.
And then the fact that he tried to call Bob Costas. Do you know that?
No.
So he called the hotline or whatever and said he was OJ and he was wanting to speak to Bob Costas.
I think we talked about this wasn't it fake?
No, it's real. And because he talked about it, and the guy thought he was fake.
Oh.
But it was actually they showed that the phone records.
You want more juice?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Juice is loose.
That's
I get you more juice.
That's what Al Collins said on the phone.
The juice is loose.
So I think what you guys are saying is it would be kind of fun to have a double murder be.
Not at all. But the
back
fascination of it, it took over everything.
It did take over.
It was
everything.
on TV. It was everywhere.
Norm Macdonald did basically every weekend update for years on OJ jokes. I mean, it just was it was nonstop part of the culture in this country for a good, I don't know, half a decade at least. Right?
I feel like it still is.
Still hovers, yeah.
It's weird that he's gone. He was larger than life for a while there.
If you tear up, I'm going to punch you in the face.
No,
don't get emotional.
No,
it's
I'm not
OJ.
a fan. I'm not a fan. I don't like him at all. In
What a
fact,
stance.
I didn't like him before it was cool to not like him.
Oh, okay. Alexis, you're the best. Where can
guys.
people follow you on social media?
At Alexis Mirjana, Mirjana on X, I guess it's called now, Instagram, wherever. We're wrapping up the PWHL season. We'll finish up here at the end of May, so we got some of that coming up. And other than that, I'm hitting my stride for my quote-unquote off-season. So.
Awesome. You know the coolest part of Mirjana is like the I and the J look almost identical, except for the J has that little hook at the
Just
bottom.
a little.
They just
and
must
the
have,
capital letters look similar, too.
That's
I don't know
such
if you
a
knew
good
that.
point.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Thanks, Alexis.
Thank you.
Power Trip back tomorrow, 5:30 to 9, 9 to noon is next.
To listen back to today's Power Trip Morning Show or to hear previous shows, podcast us on the iHeartRadio app or KFAN.com.
KFAN Total Traffic.
From the Quick Trip Traffic Center, here's a look at the road. .694 eastbound at University, an accident on the right shoulder, and Highway 61 southbound at Carver, a crash on the right shoulder there. 94 eastbound at Henn-Lyndale, a stall on the right shoulder. That's traffic on the Fan. Traffic is sponsored by Lowe's. Pros, save big when you buy in bulk at Lowe's. Save 10% on bulk purchases of select roofing shingles because Lowe's knows pros. Selection varies by location while supplies last. Discount taken at time of purchase. See sales associate for details.
It's nice out. It's definitely spring cleaning time. Zero Res wants to be a part of your spring cleaning plan. So if you want to start purging your home, or maybe you've been doing it like my family has for the last handful of weeks, keep purging, keep throwing stuff away, but then have Zero Res out and do all the other projects that you don't want to do or can't do because they're really not DIY projects anyways, like carpet cleaning, like air duct system cleaning, rug cleaning, upholstery cleaning, tile cleaning. You want to get your home, cabin, or business spotless? The deep clean way, the way to do that is Zero Res. 952 ZEROREZ. It spells the same forward and backward. They have a 4.9 rating on Google. And the best part about Zero Res is not only do they do it better than everyone else, they want to give KFAN listeners the best possible deal. So if you mention KFAN, they'll clean 3 rooms of carpet starting at $129, and they can take $75 off your air duct system cleaning. And who doesn't want to be breathing clean air this spring? So if you have allergies too, or someone in your home has allergies, get that air duct system cleaned as quickly as possible. Get on the calendar, 952-ZERO-RES or ZeroResMinnesota.com and mention KFAN.
He loves to sniff the neighborhood dogs a little too closely. On more than one occasion, you've seen him roll around in the mud. He's been known to drool